Hello, welcome. Today we're going to show you how we build electric fence. This is just one example of how we build it. Specifically, we're using permanent high tensile wire. So we're installing a cross fence. If you can see behind me, we have what I'm going to call my brace post. This is the end of the fence. We're building cross fence within a bigger paddock. So there's many different ways to build a fence, but we're going to show you a very basic example. One wire permanent high tensile. We found it hard to find info on this, so we're going to show you how we build it and then let you take it and apply it to your place. So first, you need the basic supplies. So we're using high tensile wire. This is a leftover size that we have, but normally we use about a 12.5 gauge, around 180,000 psi. If you use a thicker gauge or a higher psi, you're gonna struggle to bend it and tie it and really get the most function out of it. This is smooth wire. This is not barbed wire. So it'll be permanently electrified. You need two corners. You need a starting and an end point. So here we have posts sunk in deep. For one cross wire, that's enough for us. Over here we have an example of a corner where we've actually built a brace, and that's used on our perimeter to hold a little more strength. You're going to want these. They're called high strain insulators. That's what you're looking for. It is what insulates. It's where you tie one end to your corner post for strength, and then that goes one way, and then the other way you're tying the energized side to your hot wire, to your energized wire, and the insulator keeps it so that your electricity can flow only through the fence and cattle when they complete the circuit, and it insulates it from the post. You just have to be aware of what you're using and how much power that's going to take from your energizer. So we have our corner posts. In our case, we're using wood. We have insulators. I've spoke about our wire. And the last thing you need is a line post. You need to decide your spacing. For us, it's probably going to be 15 or 20 paces. That can be 30 to 45 feet. Again, this is just cross fence, so it doesn't need very high strength. You might be using wood posts, in which case you're going to want to get an inline insulator that you can staple on. And then we also have a guide wire. So here's our poly wire. This is the temporary wire that we use to divide up more appropriate daily portions and paddocks. But we're actually going to use this as a guide to string out where we're going to run our fence so that it's straight. One thing we found with these timeless posts is if you do not have it exactly straight, it will bend when you tighten the fence. And it's hard on the posts. I don't think a sloppy fence is bad. This is just a psychological barrier, but I think the cattle can notice it. I notice it, especially corners. Like I've done spots where I go around a bend, just put wood posts in the corners. But anyways, I'm ranting. Let's just start building this. We can talk more about electric fence on another video. So I'm going to lay out my guide wire and start there. Okay, I'm going to walk this out and count my paces. Then when I get back, I'll know how many paces or how long my field is. Then I can count how many posts I'm going to need. So I'm going to go run this out now. So once you get the wire ran between your two posts, I snap it as I go along and it'll kind of settle. You got to watch like ridges and stuff. It'll shift. Like I said, try to make it straight. For us, we can't use the actual wire because with high tensile or with the timeless posts, we run it through the holes. If I were doing wood posts, I wouldn't be using a poly wire reel for my guide wire. I would just use my actual fence wire, run it out, string up one, and then put my line post base on it. So now I'm going to go space them out about 20 paces. It's going to take me about 7 posts. And I'm going to try to be consistent. I'm not going to push it against the wire or I'll have a tendency to move it. So yeah, I'm going to go line them up and then we'll be ready to pound them in. Now I'm sure you're wondering how we're going to get these posts in, because you don't see a post pounder around. What we have is a manual post pounder. This is just a T-post pounder we bought from a hardware store. With the timeless posts, there's a sticker on them that sets the height. It's only about 1.5 feet in the ground. That's as far as you need to do it. Don't worry about doing it further. Once again, this is a psychological barrier, not a physical barrier. So this is not meant to hold a cow back or to hold back steady pressure from them rubbing on it or pushing against it. It is just, if it's kept electrified, the cattle should psychologically stay away. So we're going to pound these in by hand. Again, if you're using something different, wood posts, steel T-posts, apply it to your situation. First of all, that's all there is to it. Make sure it's lined up so your holes can let the wire feed through easy. So I'm going to go finish this up, then we can get ready to run our wire. Okay, we got our line posts all pounded in. We're ready to run our high tensile wire out. This is a spinning Jenny. Very handy tool. We used it to put up all our wire. You put a big loose roll on it, tighten it, and then cut the bands, and it saves your wire from exploding and going everywhere. This stuff is totally different than barbed wire. It's really springy. So yeah, get a spinning Jenny, and then with the timeless, you just grab it and you start walking. We selected our post height, our wire height, based on our experiences. We're running yearlings and cattle mostly. There's lots of info on that. Just Google, specifically from like Gallagher or Stayfix or whatever, for height recommendations based on the animals you're going to run. So here we go. Okay, so I got my insulator tied onto the other end. So we're ready to tie one on this end and tighten. I'm going to cut my wire off close to the post because it's going to shorten when I stretch it. And I'm just going to stick it down into the ground for now. That keeps it from running away. Find my end. Then I'm going to use this end here to tie on my insulator. So there's some videos about how to tie these knots. But you cross over, reach under, pull a kink. Be sure you can always turn this, you can always roll this one way, but don't roll it back and forth. Once you roll it back, it weakens it, it exhausts it. So do your roll, and then you can tighten it back to your height. So you don't got to worry about it being the perfect spot right away. Then grab under. So you've gone over and under, now over again. Now grab under, pull up, make a handle, and then wrap. And that, continuing in only one direction, will give you a knot that will tie. Now if you turn your wire, you should be able to weaken it and snap it off. So see how easy it does break? It can break very easily when it's folded one way and back, like a paper clip. But if you keep it the right direction, it's okay. Pull off another couple feet to tie on your insulator. Grab your insulator. It goes two ways. It doesn't really matter which way you start it. The same thing, you're doing the same knot. You're going to make a loop, starting crossing over, under, and pull through. This is the exact same knot I tied on the other side. Now once you have it, you can grab your insulator, pull back, and tighten it. Now when you're ready to stretch, you won't lose a bunch. So again, you've gone over, under, through. Now reach under, do your wrap and make your handle. I've done as little as 2 wraps and as many as 5. Haven't had much of an issue here. So there you go. Okay, I got my fence stretcher here. This is just a barbed wire fence stretcher. It's worked for me so far. I know they have other ones for tightening. Use whatever works for you. You could do it somewhat hand tight or torque it with a plier. Or you could put a tensioner in the middle. Whatever works for you. The key is it doesn't have to be extremely tight. It does not have to be as tight as barbed wire. It actually is supposed to be stretchy. So you want it just tight enough that it holds straight, but also enough flex that you could step on it and push it down. If it's tight enough that you can climb up it like a barbed wire fence that's too tight, it's going to lose its strength like a rubber band once you stretch it too much, and you'll find a bunch of busted wires in the winter. So I just like to hook on here. Try to pull slack out of the line. And then start tensioning. I found the longer runs are easier to keep tight. I found shorter ones quite difficult. So one stretch is more than plenty for this one. It's probably going to lose some tension once I tie my knot because it won't be perfect. But yeah, that is more than tight enough. But we'll show you what it looks like after we take the tension off. So again, same thing, make sure you're going across the different way. That's what separates your wire from your post. Same knot. Now I'm going to release this and hold on to it because I don't have room to wind over. Depends on the situation. I'm losing tension because it's tightening up there, which is okay. So I'm going to reach under, tie my knot. So the wire is straight, the wire is not sagging, but I can also do that, okay? So we found that to be good. Should be springy, but not too tight. So yeah, there you go. Now we have a cross fence. I hope you learned something, can apply it to your situation. Of course, we're going to have to energize this. There's many different ways you can do that. So, thanks for watching. I hope this helped. And make sure you check out any other videos.